initially, Clement, the engagement started 11, 12 days ago. and one of the first things that I raised was the issue of the security. And I was talking, of course, to the Secretary of Parliament. We have exchanged the communications and so forth. And part of that I have requested from Parliament, I have actually sent it through to your producer, that you are able to see how and what is it that we have spoken about. And they could not meet that request. It's a humble request. And for the sake of my security, there was no way I could go there.
Okay, I'll get the listeners to, because I've looked at what you've sent the producers earlier on and what you expected Parliament to do. I'll get to that in a moment. But can you confirm whether or not you've received the subpoena from Parliament as we speak now?
No, I have not yet received the subpoenas. Yesterday, even though it was spoken on the media that I'll be subpoenaed, we had more discussion with the Secretary of Parliament looking at the possibilities that I avail myself either next week or the week after. Okay.
Now, let's look at what you are expecting Parliament to do. Parliament offered to provide you with security. Why wasn't that satisfactory for you? Part of what you sent us earlier on is that the security company that you are utilizing can only quote a minimum of 7 days. And if they leave on Saturday, you can fly on Sunday to Cape Town and they can fetch you from the Cape Town airport. So let's start with the parliamentary security first. Why are you not satisfied with security that Parliament offers you?
Yeah, first of all, Clement, the arrangement was because I had to consult, prepare with the investigators and the evidence leaders. I had the possibilities, or what was possible was that I should arrive on Sunday for Monday. Then that's where the 7 days story came from, because now the people I'm traveling with, they are using ammunition which could not be used over this aeroplane so easily. So they had to travel, meaning they had to drive to Cape Town. And if you calculate, if I arrive on Sunday, they had to leave on Saturday. If I arrive on Monday, they had to leave on Sunday. Meaning I could consult Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, appear tomorrow, and probably go back on Saturday. That would fall within the 7 days period that I was referring to. But in addition, if you talk of security, Clement, this is a different thing. Even yourself, you can't be told, come to the airport, someone will pick you up. It means somebody had to come there holding a placard written brown Mogotsi, and I had to go and meet that person, take me to a hotel. I can't ask him for water. I don't know him. I did not know the person. And the same person must take me to prepare with the lawyers, go back to a hotel, take me for lunch, bring me food. It's practically impossible. So we have spoken about that. And the parliamentary security that they refer to, they never even classified. I'm having CPOs, your close protection officers, which runs these things in a different way that all CPOs have a knowledge about. So they could not even indicate to me that here's a CPO, let him, the head of CPO, speak to my CPO and make this arrangement as to how and will I travel and so forth, where will I eat? Because these bookings, I don't do bookings.
Of 3. The question the chair is asking you, the very first thing you should have seen is the details of the individuals, the case number, the sub-stamp, the ID numbers, and the 6 police officers who are respondents in the complaint. Because the affidavit is page 7. But pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those are the details of the individual police officers. That's on page 65. I'm there, Commissioner. And it's Annexure SEN2. I'm there, Commissioner. The first page, there's a police stamp. It's a sub-stamp, so it tells you that this is a SAPS document. Then you have the 2 complainants, Nangi and Bright. Then you have the Metro Police Respondent 1, Mr. Mohammed. Then you have Respondent 2, Mr. Yassin. Then you have Respondent 3, Mr. Yakub. Then you have Respondent 4, Captain. 5, Constable. 6, Colonel. 7, KZN Police Commissioner General Mkwanazi. 8, Colonel Govender. And their details are there, their personal details. The affidavit starts on page 7, which would be 71 of that bundle. And much later, even Mr. Nangi's ID number, you have no business sharing Mr. Nangi's ID number. You have no business sharing his cell phone number. You are breaking the law. Everything that you are doing, you've got dockets in that dossier. These are SAPS documents. You were not just sharing an affidavit, you were sharing the entire dossier relating to the Nengi case. Over 200 pages worth of it. And there's no way those documents could have been in the public domain. Unless you can show this commission which newspaper article annexed all these 220 odd pages such that they would have been in the public domain. Unless you can show us that, I'm not prepared to accept that these were in the public domain.
Then the interviews ran on the 7th of November, and General Sibek is appointed on the following day, and he becomes the unit head. That's basically the only appointment letter that General Sibia has. A unit head in the city of Johannesburg is a director. Yeah. All right, so that's happened in 2016 in November. In January 2017, General Sibia is masquerading as a head of department. In actual fact, there's a report that he signs. In this report, he signs this report as if he's a head of department. Even though he's appointed as a unit head, this report, he signs it through a title that nobody else knows, of a commissioner. So, in that report, it says that General Sibia was appointed now as the head of chiefs. That's a report in January. So in the space of 2 months, you've got someone who comes in January, in November as a unit head. In January, this person is a group head. There is no recruitment process for the second appointment. Nobody knows how General Sibia becomes a head of department. So, when you go to that report, the one that says he is now a head of department.
And who was responsible for that?
For that report?
Clearly unlawful appointment.
You
say there was no process that was...
According to the affidavit of General Sibia, he was appointed through a report that was signed by Mr. Mashaba. So, and when you go to that report, indeed it have got a signature of Mr. Mashaba. But there's a list of officials.
And Mr. Machapi?
Mr. Mashaba.
Mashlaba.
The former mayor of Johannesburg, Mr. Mashaba.
Oh, Mashlaba.
Yes, Mashaba. So he says that in his own state affidavit before court that he was appointed through a report signed by Mr. Mashaba. If you've been in local government, there's no report of a mayor that can appoint anybody. The mayors don't have appointing powers.
Even executive mayors?
No, can't appoint an official. There are two institutions that appoint, authorities that appoint officials. It's the council, it appoints heads of departments. Then the next one is the city manager. So even if you had wanted to dream that there was an appointment done by Mr. Mashaba, that would have been a bogus appointment because in any event, he doesn't have any power to appoint. Two, there would not have been an appointment simply because there ought to have been a recruitment process before that. So that's January and November. The nice thing about it, SC, is that this plan to make Shadrach Sibia a head of department is hashed on the 4th of November, 3 days before he's appointed. A legal opinion is sought to check as to whether, even though he's applying to be a unit head, he's going to be interviewed for a unit position. A legal opinion is being sought as to whether he cannot be made a head of department. And the legal opinion says, no, you can't do that. And that legal opinion is dated the 8th of November 2016, a day after General Sibiya had attended an interview. So it starts there, it gets hashed there. The legal opinion, the nice thing about it, again, it have got the same signatures. The same signatures of the very people who are going to say General Sibiya is an HOD.
It's important because where your question is heading is, why is the president not acting against it?
No, but I think where my question starts, I think South Africans would like to know what the report says about the police minister.
In summary, Clement, the report does refer to the evidence and the allegation. It does refer to the evidence that the minister has led at the commission, as well as what has been the allegations against the minister. The minister is still going to go back to the commission and answer to more allegations against him, including the ones that have recently surfaced. Mm-hmm. The president wants him to go back and answer to all of the allegations before he can consider his next steps in regard to the minister specifically. And so that matter will be concluded at an appropriate time once the president has, or rather once the minister has gone back to the commission and the commission has given clear findings against the minister.
So as we speak right now, in the interim report, the commission doesn't say anything about prima facie evidence against Senzo Mchunu?
No, it doesn't at this stage.
Okay, that doesn't stop the president from acting, though. Why is the president not taking action against Senzo Mchunu? And I'm asking that question because take what the commission has done now. There are certain people who have not even appeared before the Madlanga Commission, and yet the Madlanga Commission has now recommended that those people, they must be investigated. So the fact that the minister has to go back to the commission doesn't mean that the president is hamstrung to act against him. Otherwise, the Madlanga Commission also wouldn't have recommended that people who haven't even appeared before them be investigated.
No, indeed, Clement, but we also have to appreciate that what the commission has done is in line with the terms of reference. It's not just out of its own initiative. It's there embedded in the terms of reference that it can make referrals and it can make recommendations on certain matters to be referred for further investigations. Clement, the minister is a politician. The president, to your point, has the power to act against him and to decide what happens with him in this regard. There's also nothing prohibiting the president from allowing the minister to go through due process in the form of the commission before he considers any form of action. So you could say that if he acted now, he will be acting on a matter that's incomplete. The commission has not given the president a firm finding against the minister. The minister is still to appear at the commission again. And so up until then, the president is not going to rush into any form of action. One appreciates and understands the pressure for the president to act immediately. A lot of the evidence that has been led at the commission has been quite disturbing. It has contributed to eroding public levels of confidence in law enforcement. And so the president is keen that we get on with investigations where we can. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the commission's work, he will take decisive action.
But what I'm doing with Tato, so you know what OTP is talking about. But it's not your business, you tell us. It's of a 33-year-old son. He has no business discussing it with you unless you're involved with it. So the impression it creates is that, well, you know about this transaction. And then at page 11, he says, tell him to send me his FICA documents. The impression it creates to me, and I may be wrong about it, the impression it creates to me is that you are, in fact, the one that Mr. Matala and Tato were buying an apartment for, or in relation to. You were the real beneficiary of it. And Tato would have been a proxy in this transaction. That's the impression I get, and I may be wrong. You may comment if you want to.
Thank you, Commissioners. The analogy is incorrect. I am not the proxy. They were doing business. I testified, Commissioner, that